Alright guys, we got a Winter Arena special going on this week for the losers bracket with Jerry in New Orleans. We had originally said we weren't even going to be doing an episode, but you know what? We can't quit you. We can't get away from the esports scene, so we are back here once again for a special edition of the losers bracket. I am joined by, well, two of my normal co-hosts. I've got Rapture with me, the intern, and I've also got Kurt from Check 6. Gentlemen, I'd like to know how you all doing. I guess I should add this in here. Hold on. There we go. The big circle over Jerry's face since he isn't actually here at the moment. But, guys, I want to know, how are you all doing? Kurt, let's start out with you. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, buddy. Doing well. It's been a long week. Been a very, very long week. I wasn't even expecting a show today, but I'm glad we're doing one. Got a lot of stuff to talk about with the Winter Arena special. And, you know, maybe I'll hit you up with some news a little bit at the end as well to keep you guys as informed as possible for people that haven't been keeping up. But a lot of stuff to talk about. Lots of stuff to talk about. Dakota, how about you, buddy?
What are you people
definitely
talking about here?
What? Wait a second.
Hi, Jerry.
Whoa. Where did you come from?
What do you mean, where did I come from? You called me.
Oh, he just
That
took the
would
secret
happen.
out of the bag. Let's take that.
Very nice.
Let's take that red circle off your face. I had a big slash through you as that you weren't here. So, oh, but he's arrived. Jerry, how are you doing tonight, sir? Oh, maybe he isn't here. Maybe I should put the circle back.
Hotel internet. Hotel
Maybe I
internet.
can finish with my introduction. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
go for it, Rapture. How you doing, buddy?
Well, for my weekend, I had a great time. Got to watch some Cross Assault. Actually, that wasn't a great time. And then I won.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't a great time, actually, was it? And then, you know, made some bank off some poker. Saw Act of Valor. Great movie. Sort of booty acting, but whatever. And then, you know, just chilling mad hard, doing some homework, you know, that kind of stuff. And now I'm here with you guys, you know, also chilling mad hard as possible. So I'm doing good, dude. I'm doing good.
You are a chin-chillin' champion, my friend, and I'm not talking the League of
am.
Legends variety. Wow.
Ooh.
No, not at all. Wow, I would love to talk some Winter Arena here. Hopefully Jerry can get back on here soon, you know, with his hotel internet in his New Orleans trip. I want to know how his New Orleans trip is going, too. But I guess this will be our first episode where we haven't really had Jerry for a full episode. This is kind of interesting, isn't it? But Kurt, let's start things off with some Winter Arena chat, shall we? I'd love to hear what your thoughts were on the event.
I would probably say my thoughts are the same as everyone else's. I think MLG did a pretty decent job, if not a great job, at showing a lot of matches, keeping content flowing. You know, there was a lot of different streams, and I was probably one of the only who absolutely, you know, bought the pass, but also watched the Dr. Pepper stream. So I was a real big fan of the Dr. Pepper stream, just because on there, every once in a while, they would do the player analysis with the different players in the lounge. I absolutely love the fact that they had different casters there that you don't normally see, like the great Adabisi, who was doing, I think, some casting, and also he was doing the obs for quite a few things, as well as Tumba, and, you know, of course, all the regulars. But I was a big fan, man. I was a big fan of just everything they did. I absolutely loved the player when they brought on some of the players. I mean, I know I talked about that on some of the previous shows, about how important that was to me, that, you know, that they included some of that. I'm glad they did that. I don't think their choices were necessarily the best. I think Cats, you know, provides a good analysis, but I don't think Cats and Drewby worked incredibly well together. But I love when they brought on Grubby. That was amazing. I'm not sure if anybody remembers that, but that was absolutely amazing hearing him cast. He did really well at Home Story Cup with him casting there too. So yeah, I mean, overall, I know I ranted there for a little bit. Overall, I think it was really, really good. I think some constructive criticism to MLG and a little bit of time, and we'll have one of the best events, if not the best event, going on. So
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, the production aspect was just phenomenal. I loved the overlay that they had where you could watch all the streams at once. For those of you that might not have been able to tune in, you were actually able to click, like, you could actually have one big stream here with all the little streams underneath it, so you could see all the matches going on at once. And if you wanted to switch between commentary, all you had to do was just click on the one that you wanted, and it would automatically switch over, which that was just a wonderful, wonderful addition to their streaming venture. I mean, it was just wonderful. On top of that, I don't know what it is, but there was just something epic about when they had the main stage, if you want to call it that, two players, then you could see the skyline of New York behind them. I mean, that's such a small thing, but at the same time, it made all the difference in the world to the look of the event. I thought it made it seem much more epic, even though there wasn't an audience there. Anytime it cut back to that shot to show the buildings in the background, really, really cool. Did you agree with me there, Kurt, or what do you think about the location?
I think the location was really good. I think, from what I've heard from the players, and I didn't have any players there, unfortunately, but from what I've heard from the players from either interviews or just since then, they seem to really love the location. They love the fact that MLG has sort of really changed up their entire setup. I mean, I'm not sure who has been to the MLG offices before, but they had it kind of spread out and kind of weird, from what we were told and what we've seen in pictures for those that haven't been there. Um, but I think now everything was a lot more comfortable. Players had quite a bit of room considering how many players are there and stuff like that. I love the fact that even though they couldn't be open to too many journalists, they did allow a select few. ESFI was there, despite I think, incognito mode, from, I suppose is what you would call it. They were hiding from the law a little bit. Also, the Great Slasher was there. I think, despite Jerry's hatred for him sometimes, I think he did really amazing coverage for GameSpot, which is, of course, a mainstream gaming site.
I
It's
agree.
really good for us. And I think he did really, really good coverage. Also, Rachel was there from CSN. She did some good interviews and sort of, some Twitter updates and stuff like that. So I love the fact that even though they couldn't, get everybody in there that requested and sort of have this big sprawling thing, they did allow some Team Liquid stuff and some GameSpot stuff and stuff like that. I think that was very smart of them. I'm glad they decided to do it. The location, like you said, the backdrop, I thought the backdrop was amazing. I would say, once again, as constructive criticism, I wish they could figure out some way to better light the players a little bit, without it blinding them. We of course don't want it blinding them. Like the original lights they had the sort of the fog, sort of red and blue tinted lights, which I think is awesome. I think that's good. I love the little mood lighting, as I guess Jason Tugman would call it, from his esports production shows. But I wish it was a little bit lighter, so you can actually see the players a little bit more when they're playing and know what's going on. But I'm sure they'll work all that out and get some, a little bit lighter lights in there so we can actually see without blinding them. I'm sure they'll work all those kinks out. But yeah, I absolutely loved the backdrop. Especially in the mornings, like at night, it was great. But in the mornings when you watched it, it was absolutely amazing seeing that backdrop.
Yeah, I really liked the red and blue as well. It was very visually appealing to see, okay, this is one player, this is the other. But I don't want to take up too much time going over what you've covered as well. I'd like to hear our intern's thoughts with Jerry disappearing from the mix here. We'll let Rapture kind of come into the fold a little bit more. Dakota, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, I wasn't able to cover or watch all of it. I was a little busy, poker tournament, hanging out with people, etc., which was really cool. But I did get to catch it, and I thought the production was absolutely amazing for an event like this. That was an invitational small tournament, or that kind of sense. I thought it was really great. The production was absolutely amazing. I thought really in tune. I was really interested to keep watching. I found the lack of an audience a little not okay, but I mean, it's obviously not going to pack an audience into the MLG offices, but a lot of the hype is generated from hearing the crowd yell and hearing them, cheer for people and hearing the commentators over loudspeakers, get people amped up. So losing that effect, it sort of did a little thing with me. I was like, oh, great, another match, which was great, but I do like the audience factor that we miss at, from MLG events. I honestly think the event was great. The price tag is a different story. I'm still not the biggest fan, but I'm sure we can talk a little bit, if not. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm not. And for one of the people that didn't get to catch it the entire time, $20 wasn't. It wasn't enough for $20 for me, who wasn't able to catch it the entire time. But other than that,
You're bad.
I am. You know what? I am. I think $20 was a little much for me. Do you want to debate that? Because I would love to.
Oh God, I think I think that's been debated so much.
I mean, that's what Dave. Yeah, right. But other than that, though, I mean, it was either like it was the Winter Arena or Cross Assault, and I was like, Winter Arena, let me watch that, and I found someone to watch it with.
Say, really, that's not even a choice,
right? Like that wasn't even a good choice. I was like, I gotta watch the Winter Arena, and like I was able to find someone who actually was watching it in my dorm, which was great. So I watched a little bit with him, but no, it was absolutely amazing. I thought overall it was a really successful event. I think it was produced great. Action. Shout out to DRG for being one of my favorite StarCraft 2 players, holding it down. So I think it was a really great event.
Yeah, most
definitely. I think we talk about not just is Jerry here?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
We can.
He's back again.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can.
Oh wow, you guys sound surprised. Well, yes, I'm in New Orleans and I'm a happy person. So let me not interrupt. Please continue. I know I jumped in here.
Hold on. No. It's okay. We can cut things off right here because Rapture was just talking about how he was upset. Blah blah blah. Paying $20.
I wasn't upset. No, I was not. Don't turn this.
No, you were
upset.
We're gonna sweep you back under the rug. You salty
I was a little
individual.
I was a little salty. You're right. I was a little salty.
Go back.
What was
to
he
your
salty
chinchilla.
about?
That he didn't get to watch
$20.
The $20 for one day.
Wasn't a fan. It wasn't the fan. Did I say it was wrong? Did I say that they made a bad decision? Did I say that they did bad? No. I was a fan. I had a great time watching it for the time that I did. But considering my situation,
stolen restream, we got you.
Considering, you're right. Considering my situation where I couldn't watch it every single minute of the entire weekend, no, $20 wasn't enough
you
for
know
me.
what?
Hold on. I got to jump in here. Do you own cable TV?
I don't. I'm at college, but at home I do.
Obviously you don't. Do you pay for it at home, or do your parents pay?
I don't pay for it. My parents pay for it.
Okay, so here's a story. I own cable television, and I shit you not, 99% of it I don't watch. I'm just telling you the truth.
Right. Yeah.
So for you to argue, if you're saying to me, "Oh my God, I watched the MLG event, and you know what, I didn't take full advantage of my $20, therefore you should charge less." To me, it's the same thing as telling cable television, "Oh my God, why do you bundle together all these channels that I will never watch and then expect me to pay for it?" There's a good reason for those things. So I'm kind of like, there was like one person on Team Liquid was like, "Oh my God, I think it was Hotbit actually from Team Liquid was like, you knew about this and you profit." I guarantee you, whatever dollar we made off everything we sold, we didn't profit for anything. This was successful. Let's be honest, seriously.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I think it was extremely successful, and I just, for me personally, in my context, I didn't have the time to really like watch it. If it was maybe a little less, maybe I would have thrown on $5 or $10 at the time when I was like just around Saturday, where I already missed half of it. But at the time, no. So I mean, no, I agree with you. I the cable and TV thing is a good analogy for it. But at the time, no, I didn't think it was $20 enough for me. At the time, no, in my context. But I think it was a success. I'll say that over and over again.
It was.
Here real quick. Here's how I felt. Right. I honestly saw some of the best StarCraft I've ever seen. This is the truth.
Yes.
And I was around all the people I love in VVV in a mobile channel. There were about, depending on the time, there might have been 25, there might have been 30, there might have been 45, maybe even up to 50. We all sort of hung out and we talked StarCraft. That's all we did all the time. And people had their opinions and we were kind of shouting each other down and we were talking about these things. Kind of reminded me of being at sort of watching football with other people or watching any sporting event. It was very organic. It was very real. And I sort of felt like this is what it should be. And the idea that I spent $20 for it or that everybody around me spent $20 for it, I kind of felt like, you know what? You either really like it or you don't. And there seems to be there was a lot of yap on Team Liquid, in my opinion, about, "Oh my God, I'm not paying for it. Oh my God, I hope this fails and dies so it goes away." This reinforces my belief that MLG is a little too soft about how they relate to the community, even though they get accused of being horrible business people or being corporate. But I'm going to be honest, if this was not worth $20 to you, if this was not worth $20 to you, I still struggle. I still struggle with, really? I mean, I'm just making a comparative value assessment of all the things that I could and have spent $20 on in my life. I don't know. I'm gonna be one of those guys and be a real tough sell if you tell me the $20 I spend on 3 cocktails last night is really tangibly better spent than the $20 I spent for a weekend of StarCraft. I just have a tough time with it, and I don't think it's about, oh my God, I'm poor, I can't afford it. I don't think it's about that. I think MLG did the right thing, and I think they know, for better or worse, what the uptake is at that price level, and that's an important thing to know.
I think.
You know what? Hold on, Kurt. Hold on. I think that they did completely the right thing, too, by doing this event like this, because so many people cried. So many people said, oh my God, $20, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? These people wanted it because they would not have talked if they did not. They would have been silent if they did not want this. Because check this out. They found a workaround. Some people actually found a way around the paywall. And let me be the first to say, fuck those people that tried to find a way around the paywall and watch the stream for free. Because that is just the one thing in my mind that will tear down esports, is if we cannot get people behind this. But here's the thing. That even shows they wanted this content. They knew how big this was. And let me say one other thing. I find the sweetest irony in the fact that Marine King, spoiler, sorry, won this event because so many people wanted to see him break that second place curse that he so-called had and win a major event. And for him to win that on the first ever pay-per-view, where so many people were complaining that they couldn't watch it, I think there's just sweet irony in that. Kurt, you may continue.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think, unfortunately, though, and I completely agree with that assessment, Jerry and Jason. Unfortunately, though, we are not who MLG is after. You know, I keep on telling people this. I mean, I'm going to buy it no matter what the fucking price. I'm going to buy it either way. You know, as long as they have an open fucking qualifier. That will piss me off if they don't do that. As long as they have an open qualifier, I'm going to continue to buy it. But Dakota here is who they're after. They're after the mainstream, the people that, you know, are just sitting there with their fucking friends on a Saturday night with nothing else better to do, and you know, we're playing poker.
Well, no, that's not true at all. I had something to do. I was busy. If I wasn't busy this weekend, if I had nothing to do or very little to do, they would have had my $20. They can have.
Okay, now hold on though, Dakota. I think that's really important though. Hold on. See, here's the thing. I don't know if anybody else has ever done this, but sometimes you buy a video game and you don't have time to play it. I may be really rare in this, but that happens. I'm not mad at the developer for charging me to buy that video game. I'm just disappointed that I can't find the right work-life flexibility to get to that point where I can do that. So I'm just wondering, and I'm glad you clarified, Dakota. I think it's really important that you did. So let's be fair. I wish it was kind of cheaper so I could kind of blow it off if I need to without feeling as bad about it, is what you're kind of saying.
Right, yeah, I would say that.
Well, I mean, in the end, it's just, that's the thing, though. I mean, I think it's not necessarily arguing about the price. I don't think continuing to argue about the price and what it doesn't do, or if it's not worth it, or if it is worth it kind of thing, is really debatable anymore. I think it's just, you know, stupid. I think the big thing is, are people going to pay it? Whether it's worth it or not, are people going to pay it? People will pay that $60 for a game, whether it's fucking worth it or not.
Obviously people do.
You know, but will people continue to pay it? That is, to me, is still remains to be seen. Still remains to be seen.
I want to make an analogy here to GSO. You pay, you know, for one season, which is 3 months, around $10. All the VODs, all the live, all that kind of stuff. That to me is appealing. I actually do pay for that. Right now I'm using the company.
You can't.
I do
You
hate
can't, you
that.
can't compare this to GSL.
Yeah,
though.
I was going to say
I
the
mean,
same thing.
stop.
Hold on. Let me,
People
yeah,
do that shit all the time.
Like, why not?
I agree.
People
Hold
do
on.
that shit all the time. What do you mean? Why not? Number one, GSL doesn't have the best foreign
Right.
talent. The best talent
Yeah,
is everywhere.
absolutely.
The GSL didn't pay them to fucking go there. The GSL doesn't put them up in a fucking hotel to be there. The GSL doesn't. I mean, it's completely different.
Can I jump in on this?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Here's my thing, right?
No, I understand that, but I'm saying
Dakota, I know you understand. Here's the thing,
Okay.
right? Okay, look, now let's be honest. We got to be honest. We got to, if we're going to do this right, we have to be honest. I watch GSL when somebody who already has a GSL passes, hey, Jerry, come look at this match. That's my experience. I'll tell you how it is. And here's the truth. I learned more about StarCraft this weekend than I ever have before. And it's not just about knowing about the game. I learned a lot about the people, the players, it was rich. It was really rich. Here's the thing that fucking pisses me off. When I get somebody on Team Liquid or a fucking hotbid, fuck him. Oh, you get garnished from this, your profit from this. Here's the thing. I will gladly not take a single dollar from Major League Gaming. They can keep the money from the revenue we generated if that will help you make a formal statement that you support this at $20. If that's what it takes for me to sacrifice, I will, without question, do that so that we are not creating phantoms. Something I want to get back to about what you said that I think is important, what Kurt just said about GSL. Stop. GSL is something, but you're in a way making an argument that the Olympics are not German soccer. That's silly. It's the Olympics. It's about all nations participating. Therefore, global StarCraft, as it's called, is not the same as Major League Gaming doing an arena where in Europe, North America, and Korea, we take the top 8 players, bring them together, and have them compete. Not the same thing. In a matter of fact, I think the GSL argument is so pedestrian that individuals who use it are using it just to pew-pew. If you follow GSL and you spend money on GSL because you love StarCraft that much, it doesn't feel like a large stretch to me that you will also pay money to watch this type of format. We need to do a better job of ignoring the noise. And I'm really disappointed that I let Sir Scoots, in the last time we talked, kind of pigeonhole me with kind of popularism. LordJerith, you're ignoring a segment of the community. And he kept calling me out on it, and I kept saying that's not what I was saying. And I wasn't. But now, you know what? We should ignore a certain segment of the community. Team Liquid is wrong to say, MLG, you need to find a way to give us this for free. Luckily, thankfully, in my day job, thank God, I get to work, around some of the best minds in talent management, human capital development. I don't have to do esports full time, which for my own sanity, to be honest, is really a positive thing. But I was talking, and I tweeted about this. I was talking to someone at Viacom, specifically at MTV Networks at Viacom, and we were talking about esports, and we had this really, really great conversation. Something he said to me that it just really struck with me, how much when people complain about something, and we had talked about a lot of things, but when we came to the issue of, I said, nobody wants to pay for it. He asked, do they tell you they don't want to pay for it? I said, oh my God, they're so vocal that they don't want to pay for it. He goes, don't worry, they'll pay for it. He was so confident in his answer that he said, you need to start worrying when nobody cares. When no one cares about the price, they don't care about the product. Your community cares about if what you say is true, then charge for it. And you will gain so much important data from charging for it that you'll better be able to do the price structure. And to say to me, he said, let's say you cut your viewership by half. So what? So what? It was all free and now you get half paid? Wow, that's fantastic numbers. I wish we had those kind of numbers. Do not worry. The half that didn't buy it, they'll come back. They'll come back if the product's good. As we sat through the marketing, and more importantly, when he talked about the whole business of entertainment, especially from Viacom and MTV's perspective, they own Comedy Central, and they own Nickelodeon, and they own Spike TV and Logo, and obviously MTV and VH1 and BET and country music. Anyway, let's just say, that's what I love about my day job. I get these robust conversations with people who are really in the industry, and it's like, you know what, he's right. And Major League Gaming, which it's in its DNA, is a grassroots, Halo, community-driven thing. On 3, they all attacked him so they could make their show. And then they were all like, oh my God, you're still our friend. I'm going to come work for you, blah, blah, blah. That kind of whole thing needs to stop. I really mean this when I say this. We need to be adults. We need to be adults. I mean this. And so in the end of the day, anything I pay for I don't want to, stop with the drama. Be honest with yourself. Either StarCraft has value to you or it does not. And if it does not, at this point in time, go watch League of Legends, go watch Call of Duty. There are a lot of games being streamed for free. But StarCraft is one, when you want to look at the best talent, you have to pay for. I don't at all, at any level, feel that's unreasonable.
Yep.
I agree. And you know what? I would safely say, though, despite the situation I was in this weekend, from the little I saw, I will definitely go out of my way to make a schedule to pay $20 and watch it next time. So they sold it on me. So I definitely agree with you, and I feel like people who didn't pay for it, they'll pay for it next time. Because I will.
I think I agree with Jerry here. And Jerry, we talked about this as soon as it happened originally. If you build it, they will come. And that's, to me, I believe that. I really believe if you build a good product, people are going to buy it one way or another. They might not buy it the first time. It might not work out the first time. But I think eventually they'll come. To talk to, just to take a little break from Winter Arena, I know this is Winter Arena special, and I want to try to keep on that, but we did mention GSL, and I think this is incredibly important to mention here, because this is big news. This is breaking news here, guys, for people that haven't seen this. And Jerry, I don't even know if you saw this in the chat yet, but the GSTL, the GSL Team League for 2012, is actually, the finals are going to be held at IPL 4 this year.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, and I'm really glad. I mean, I see you put it here in chat, but I didn't want to comment it because I know none of the details. So I'm really glad you share that, because I just hopped on here in New Orleans. So I'm looking at it now.
That's huge. That's huge. That's huge for a lot of reasons, and I'm not sure. To me, what's the funniest thing about this is I had no idea about this, and maybe it's just because I haven't been paying attention. Which is probably likely. But I wasn't paying attention. I didn't expect this. And I saw that Sundance tweeted a few hours back, like 6 hours back, GSTL. That's all he tweeted. He tweeted GSTL. And I'm like, well, what the fuck does that mean? I'm like, what's going on here? What does that mean? I was turning my brain around it. And then this was announced for GSTL finals being held at IPL 4. That's hilarious, Sundance. I'm not, that is absolutely hilarious. That's really big news, though, man. That's big news for IPL. I think it's big news for GOM. It's, I guess, weird news for MLG. I'm not sure how that works out. And I hope things are still going well with GOM and MLG. I think they are.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I heard there was some bitterness.
Pardon me.
A little bit of bitterness from this weekend. I have heard that.
I think it's different, and I do. And this is my gut instinct. I might be wrong. This is just a very cold business perspective. Blizzard is doing something in Asia that is in the backyard. I think things are changing. And I think that GOM and IPL, I don't know if this may be, and I hate to say this because this is pure speculation. I want to make this clear, but I wonder what their relationship with Blizzard is. That's where my questioning would start to come. I'm just wondering, because there's something, I think you're kind of right, Kurt, in the way you just said in reaction to what Major League Gaming is doing. It feels like in reaction to what my competitors are doing, right? Mm-hmm. It's like one of those solid I've got to do better, and this partnership, like the two less important going after the bigger, and that's good business. I mean, I support that. I think it's the kind of competition that should always be out there. I'm not opposed to it, at all. But in a very interesting way, this signals that MLG is actually doing something really right to me. It really does.
I would agree, and for those that didn't catch what happened this weekend, as far as with GSL and Jerry, I think you remember this. What happened was quite a few of the players, including Leenock, I think one was Marine King Prime, and a few of the other guys. Anyway, their GSL scheduled matches. Their matches were scheduled for I think it was the day before they were supposed to get back. Please, if anybody in chat knows better, correct me if I'm wrong. The day before they were supposed to get back, and they didn't know that that's when their matches were scheduled, and GSL didn't tell them until the day they were leaving. Okay, so yeah, BC just correct me. Oz, Leenock, MVP, and the STC. And GSL did not notify them at all until the day that they were leaving for MLG. And from the way, at least we know from Sundance, from what he said in the interview with with Team Liquid, is they just said, look, we're going to the MLG. They've already bought our tickets. And of course, Sundance made that right. Sundance, according to what he said, is that they had paid out of pocket. Sundance did, or MLG did, whichever one, to get them back there on time for their GSL matches. So I think there's a little bit weird stuff going on there, man. I mean, we used to hear about this really good relationship between them and GOM and them and GSL or whatever, and it you don't really hear it as much, and like could be just conspiracy, could be us overthinking it, but I really don't think so. And I think everything's going to be fine for them still. I don't think it's like anything that we have to worry about, but I think it's just something to watch out for. That way people know, what they're looking for. But the IPL thing to me is still big either way. It shows that IPL is really, going no holds barred with this event. I mean, the IPL event before we had a show this week was announced for Easter weekend. It was announced to be in Las Vegas, as everybody had thought. It will be all ages, from what we understand, so it's not 21 and up, which is definitely great. And it's at an undisclosed location so far, but so a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff. It just shows that, to me, it's good because I think when Arena did so well, I think this pushes MLG to keep on with it and to actually do it a lot better. So it's good.
Kurt, I have a quick question for you. I don't know if you know any answers to this, but I know that I had read that someone had said, and I didn't see this personally, this is why I'm asking, that someone had seen at the end on Twitch TV somewhere that it showed the number of people that were watching at the very end of the tournament. Did you happen to catch that by chance? Because
I did not.
Okay.
They were hidden all weekend from what I saw, and we tried everything.
Right.
Like me and actually Mark from Quantic got on Skype and we tried to, Encyclopedia Brown that bitch. I mean, we went through the Twitch stats site. We tried that. We tried the I think it was a debug program and all kinds of weird stuff, man, to try to get some kind of numbers. And I personally couldn't. But I haven't looked as much into some of the Team Liquid threads, and they would probably know better than me.
Right.
But I couldn't see any. What I can tell you is that the Dr. Pepper stream, when I saw that around the finals time, was hovering at around 2,500. And that was the Dr. Pepper stream, so of course that was a free stream. But I know that was also not incredibly popular this weekend either. Just
right.
because, of course, all the matches were on the other streams. Me personally,
Yeah.
I love the Dr. Pepper stream, and Jerry, I talked about this before you got on, but I absolutely love the Dr. Pepper stream. I love the weird yet interesting content they had on there. A lot of people kind of missed the content because they were kind of shaky with it, but they did actually mono battles with Leenock. All right, and they had random people from the chat just join a BattleNet chat, and they played mono battles with Leenock. And they did it with Grubby, I think, too. And Sundance's kid played on there a little bit. That's awesome content, man. To me, you can't recreate that kind of shit. And then Leenock actually one of the best times I think of the entire weekend on the Dr. Pepper stream was a time when Leenock said, "Okay, I'm going to play 1v1 against somebody that just goes in the chat, and I'll pick the name randomly, and I'll also disable myself a little bit. I'll just use my mouse to play. I won't even use my keyboard." and he picked some random person, and it happened to be like a top 50 grandmasters. It was actually Sasquatch. It was Sasquatch from the team Convergence, I think. And he's like a top 50 grandmasters player. And Leenock's like, "Oh shit!" And he actually ended up losing. He was off racing and he ended up losing. It was absolutely hilarious. But anyway, that's just a rant. But yeah, people really took that Dr. Pepper stream for granted. But I think it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I didn't catch much of it, so I gotta go back and check it. Do we know if there VOD of that as well?
I'm not sure, honestly. It wouldn't surprise me if there wasn't, but I don't. It wouldn't. I don't know. I haven't looked at it at all.
Gotta look into that. Jerry, you were about to say something before?
No, I mean, I think overall, when I agree with Dr. Pepper stream adding value, the kind of value where you got flavor, it was, you need flavor, and I think it provided flavor, and that was good. And this brings me to a point of something I want to address real quick. I want to get it out of the way because it's not a big deal. I think a lot of people have said, "Oh, LordJerith, what are you going to say? What are you going to say on Twitter? How are you going to address this?" And I'm going to get out of the way now because it was one of those things that, I don't deal with kids. So right now, if you're on Twitter, you can tell, DJ Weed and Sir Scoots and Slasher and Complexity's cats, you can all tweet them real quick right now and tell them pay attention. Or mark this time because, I'm going to kind of address something that happened this weekend I think is important. I had tweeted that someone needed to help cats with this fashion imposter or get him off the screen. And I made a little love thing. That was my tweet. And the reason being is I was in Mumble. For those of you who don't know, I was in Mumble with a lot of people this one time at Peak. And as Complexity's player Cats was giving commentary, a lot of people, instead of talking about the quality of his commentary, they were commenting on, how ridiculous his necklaces were and the stupid C he was wearing. And then that turned into how he was slouching. And I tweeted this as, wow, whatever Cats was doing, some portion of the population was not paying attention. Now, if you're a hardcore StarCraft fan who likes, cats, you probably could ignore that. But again, we're trying to grow esports here, and it was clearly distracting to an audience who, hey, these are gamers. These are your core audiences. They're going to get distracted, and they got distracted away from whatever commentary was giving. The response was just, again, this is the kind of stuff, no offense to Marcus and Jason Bass and everybody else in the industry. You guys need to grow up. I'm going to be honest with you, straightforward. DJ Wheat's like, why are you such a prick? You have nothing better to do than comment on people's fashion. You know what? At this moment, I could argue, I don't know. I think I'm going to stop ranting. I really do. I know it's entertaining for a lot of you guys. Let's stop ranting. Marcus, don't do that to yourself. You're better than that. Pull him aside. You know the best practices of broadcasting? That slouching, that open jacket leaning thing, the necklaces, those are distracting from the quality of the commentary. That's just a best practice in broadcasting. Jason Bass, amen. I'm going to dismiss Jason Bass because it's his player. I understand that he is probably supporting it. But I'm going to be honest, Marcus, you're doing everybody a disservice unless you purposely are afraid of competition, which I do not assume is the case, right? But Cats, whether you like it or not, was distracting to a core audience I saw. Again, I have no dog in this fight. I don't know Cats. I've never once commented on Cats. But everybody needs to be critical of what Major League Gaming is doing. We need to do that. There were people who made a lot of comments about Drewby that I thought were unfair. I did not tweet about those. I tweeted about Cats because it was overly evident. And here again, right, I want to highlight this because it's on Twitter. This is public record. You're all welcome to, look at whoever responded to @LordJerith. Cats went LOL. I don't know how old you are. Let me pause right there. I am 41 years old. I'm not ashamed of that. I can't help that. I'm a 41-year-old involved in this space. My age is irrelevant. In most any other industry I'm in, young people come to me and they respect the experience and the professionalism I have. If you want to make my age something to discredit me, sorry, I am not at all interested. And a matter of fact, if that's your one up on me, the actual physical condition, sir, you are not a smart thinker. So from the get-go, you've kind of turned me off. And then you said, but you don't want to have this argument. I'll get more popular. You'll get less popular. If you assume my passion for esports is based on my popularity, I am quite fine being hated by everyone as long as esports grows. And I believe telling you to get your fucking necklaces off and fucking look like a decent caster and fucking sit straight like everybody else, if that bothers you, Cats, and if that bothers you, Marcus, then I question why. Why does that bother you? It would end to him say, like, honestly, I just gave you a good opportunity to say sorry about that. I didn't mean it. You're young and took offense. But then you decided to ask me what kind of help your team needs. Ha, ha, ha. Perhaps just reconsider saying, sorry, dude, didn't mean it. But see, Cats, that's the difference. I did mean it. I did mean your necklaces were distracting, and I did mean your posture sucked. That does not mean I don't appreciate the fact that you volunteered to help give good commentary. And I think it's sad that your posture and your fucking bling distracted me from what you were saying. As a matter of fact, you didn't distract me at first. You distracted everybody else that was in a mumble channel. And those are real esports fans. So to Marcus and anyone who knows them, to Complexity Cats and anybody who knows him, honestly, if you think telling me to fuck off or don't engage me, LordJerith, you're going to be less popular, I am not in this for popularity. I am not a child, and I'm certainly not uncomfortable about my age. So I just want to make clear, when we are getting players to cast, Marcus, Artosis, Tasteless, you guys have some really good best practices. You know the game. Pull them aside, mentor them, tell them how to do it right. It's bigger than little quirks of our personality, little flair. You have to be professional. We're trying to grow it bigger than our gaming culture. So, again, if you know Complexity Cats, if you know anybody from Live on 3, by all means, please share this with them. I think somebody was looking for me to rant, or somebody said, are you going to take that? And the honest truth is, I'm not bothered, right? I am not bothered at all. The truth is, it was distracting for the players that I experienced. The sample population may have only been 30 to 35 people, but a vast majority of them were focused on that conversation. That is, again, don't argue with me. I'm not here to insult Cats. I'm not here to get into a fight with Marcus. I don't care. I care about how you look and what's good. And to you, Marcus, I don't know what your beef is with me. I don't. But think about it a second. Really? Right? Really? I have always been supportive of everything you do. And tomorrow night on Live on 3, I really hope that if you've got something really shitty to say to me about how horrible I am, I hope you actually do it publicly instead of the passive-aggressive tweets. And if you don't think it's shitty, and you do think the fact that I'm involved in esports, that we've given tens of thousands of dollars to players and sponsored them, that all those things matter and that the value that we add is important, then how about you shut your fucking mouth? Honestly. How about you send me a private message and say something like, Katz is a really cool guy. I get it. But I'm not in the business of presenting my information in a way that's not going to hurt somebody's feelings. I'm direct, I'm honest, I'm straight, and I'm to the point. So to you and anybody, now the only person who I did purposely troll, I will admit, was Slasher. I think my exact tweet to Slasher was that he looked like an alcoholic defrocked priest. But it was something that Slasher, I think, could have almost, right? It's funny. It's Slasher, right? So,
it's Slasher.
And he didn't comment.
Come on.
Nobody commented about that, right? Because it's an obvious troll, right? Somebody even came back, fuck Slasher. It's the, right? But you know what, Marcus? Go right ahead. Because, I mean, if this is your thing, what are you guys going to beat me down? You don't want me to spend any more money in esports. You don't want me to have a professional relationship with SteelSeries. You don't want me to promote SteelSeries in Major League Gaming. By all means, get all the professional StarCraft players. I'll just take StarCraft alone. Get on Twitter and I'll start tweeting me. Go away, go away, go away, go away, go away. Tell Kim Rom, in a matter of fact, you know what? Here's the thing. Complexity Cats, DJ Wheat, everybody. If I am so detrimental to esports, by asking Cats to remove the distracting necklaces and the big C and what looks ridiculous and not slouch back in his chair and do all these things that are not good on camera, if that's negative, hey, tell Kim Rom. At Kim Rom, that's his Twitter. Say, stop sponsoring VVV Gaming. Send me a message. That's a good way to start. And I mean that. And you know what? If you want to build an entire consensus to get me out of esports and get VV Gaming out of esports, so you can get together on the forums and go, ha, 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 we convinced Kim Rom to drop you, there's your answer. There it is. I'm giving you the tools to get rid of us. But if you're not going to get rid of us, then please stop. I'm really not in the mood anymore. I don't know how to explain this to you, but I'm not in the mood. I'm not going to rant with you. I'm not going to use foul language to dismiss you. I'm just going to be right to the point. So I just want to get that out of the way so that Cats and everyone, if you think I'm ashamed of my age, when you make it to 42, I hope you have the freedom, the experiences, and the ability to both love what you do in your day job and have a second passion that I love as much as esports. I hope you get that lucky. And my home life is fantastic. I love my partner. I love my life. My life is good. So if those things that I love in my life bother you, hey, I'm totally with it. But to Cats and Marcus, I mean it sincerely, and I will not apologize. The people I listened to found the bling distracting, and the posture was not professional. That's all I have to say. If that constructive criticism bothers you, I am very worried about the future esports. I'm worried about the quality by which we regulate ourselves. I'm done with that. So I've said my piece about that. I'll turn it back over to you guys.
As usual, Jerry, you never fail to deliver.
I try. I mean it. I love this so much. I am here in New Orleans. I got people, if you guys, and I'm not muted, but if you hear my messages going off, when are you coming down? What are you doing? You know, and I'm going. I am. I'm going to go join the rest of us. Tell you guys a really funny story. Here at the Ritz-Carlton, we're like 2 blocks away from Bourbon Street, and we're right on Canal. So anybody who knows the intersection of Canal and Bourbon, you'll know about where we are. And what's really cool is that it's the Ritz-Carlton. I don't want to, it's really hoitsy-toitsy. And the Ritz-Carlton has Jeremy Davenport, who is one of the lead members of Harry Connick Jr.'s band, as a sort of permanent fixture. And we were able, with our event, to have him come by and sing tonight. So from like 5 o'clock to the start of this podcast, I was hanging out in the lounge with good jazz and all this kind of stuff. And, I care enough to run to Radio Shack, buy a headset, make sure I'm on, because I love what I do. I love what I do in a way that is really hard to explain. So I say this all the time. I don't want you to think, oh my God, Jerry sacrificed for this. I did not. I love esports, and I can thankfully manage my career and do this. So I'm having a blast. So I'm glad I delivered, Kurt, but it's really kind of easy.
Yeah. I think I agree. I agree with your point. That, I mean, overall, to me, I didn't really worry about how he looked or anything, because it just wasn't. I didn't like his casting. Just me personally. It has nothing to do with him as a player or anything like that. I just wasn't a fan of his casting. I think it's a great point. I think it's one that probably most people would just look over, and we shouldn't. So.
No, and I mean, I'll be honest with you, Kurt. If you had a problem with this casting, I would not recommend what I do. But maybe find a way, send Jason Bass a tweet. If you don't either, you probably have Jason's email already, and say, hey, these are some of the things the Cats could have done better, right? I mean, again, what we're trying to do, and what I think is so important, is, I don't know, job, and my day job, for some reason, I'm always thinking about esports. Just listening to Viacom, and I don't want to talk about all we talked about, but man, we forget that it's not going to be us on Twitch TV and we're going to all watch StarCraft. If it's going to grow, there are a lot of other players that are going to get involved. And I got one of the smartest comments that I had heard in a while. I said, "Sponsors are not a business strategy." And I was like, and I started thinking about professional sports. I started thinking about the Olympics, and all of a sudden I went, "Wait a minute, they're not sponsors. Wait a minute, oh my God, why do I forget? What I almost already know. We have a long way to go, and we have to spend money. The community has to spend money, and." Whatever Major League Gaming did this weekend, let's say Jason's right. Let's say it was, did you say 30,000, Jason? Was that it?
Yeah, I read and then since I haven't had the chance to say this on the show this week, I read somewhere, and I don't know if this is true or not, if this is just speculation. I read that somewhere at the very end of the stream, someone saw a number of 30,000 people watching. If that's true, then that's pretty cool. I mean, hey, let's take it at the absolute bare minimum of, we got someone's mic live?
No, I think you're good.
Okay, someone's mic just came on. Let's say it was the bare minimum. Let's say every one of those 30,000 people that were tuned in at the end, if this is the correct number, only were gold members and paid the $15. That's still nearly $500,000. And if they did pay $100,000 to get players there, things like that, I mean, let's round around. That's still going to be right around what, $300,000 profit? I mean, this is lowballing it here, but if those numbers are correct, then hey, MLG just proved something very, very important, which means that they can make a profit from this and that esports is viable. And if that is the case, that's some damn good news. But continue, Jerry.
Well, what we do know, and this is just, like I said, I'm not a professor when it comes to Twitch stats and things like that. But what we do know is the number that it showed currently people watching StarCraft on Twitch. So when you go to StarCraft, you hit browse, it shows all the different games. And it did show a number of currently people watching StarCraft. So when we were investigating all this, we did look at all of the other channels. So they had the 4 channels where it was for Major League Gaming, the Winter Arena event. They had the Dr. Pepper stream. You take all the other channels down, there looked to be, I don't know, about 8,000, maybe 10,000 max people watching all of the other channels combined. And I think we were at the number at around 36,000 current viewers. So that would lead to believe that somewhere around 25,000 were people watching the MLG streams alone, the paid MLG streams alone.
So that number wasn't too far off.
What number was not too far off? I think it can. I
heard about 30.
I would say a conservative estimate for people that actually paid would be 20,000. But you also had people getting through the paywalls, and you had people watching, just clicking on it and just watching every few seconds and then refreshing. And then you had people getting through it. That was a really big thing. So I mean, I don't know. I can't think you can call it a complete success, but to me, I think you can call it a success in the event itself. And I think
money is money,
I think MLG was happy. Exactly. I think MLG was happy, and that's really what matters.
They said they're going to do it 2 more times, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that was their whole plan all along. It's not like they had planned to only do one event. I mean, he openly said on Live on 3, he said if it was up to me, I would much rather do 2 events per arena. So that's good. And we haven't talked about that yet. To me, we haven't talked about that yet. I mean, that's something we need to touch on. At the end of this thing, Sundance did say, hey, so this was such a success, we have decided we're going to do 2 arenas in the spring. We don't know about anything in the future, if that's going to continue, but we're going to do 2 arenas in the spring. And that's all he said, pretty much. There was absolutely nothing else said. So yeah, but that's good, guys. I mean, that's 2 more days or 2 more weekends of pure content, just like this.
Yep.
And how you complain about that, I don't know. I think it'll be good. I think we're going to be busy as fuck. I think it's going to be very, very hectic. I also don't see them charging $20 per event. I just don't see that. I would pay it, but I don't see them doing that when there's going to be 2 events per season, and then you've got to pay for the the potentially of upping the streams at the actual final events and stuff like that. And it's like, I feel like they would think it would be too much, and I feel like they'll say that. I think I hope what they'll do is $10 per event. I think that is very, very a good decision. I think it's a very good decision. It ends up
Pay
with the
that in a
same amount.
heartbeat.
I would too. So I think that's a very good amount. I hope that's what they do. And I think that's what they'll do. What I don't hope they'll do, and Jerry, do you know what I'm going to say next? Can you read my mind? Can you read it?
I think what I'm hearing here, it's anything I want to really throw out there, it's anything I want you to consider, is that we don't know, and I think they should lower the price and then reevaluate the cost of that. And I think if they reevaluate the cost, so they've just done it at $20. They do it at $10. Let's see what the numbers are. And here's the exciting part, right? If the numbers at $10 go up so much, right, in such a fantastic way, then I think at that time we know it's really the right model. You know what I'm saying? But I support them lowering the price for a data point. They need to know what it is that they're going to get from this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that they're potentially missing.
So
I got you. Yeah.
So I think it's really important. So I think it's something they really must do.
I think they will. I really do. I think it'll be $10 per event. I think that's wise. You can also we're waiting on the Sundance interview with Slasher. We hear that there's some potentially unsaid things. Some hints about the future and what he's thinking. So we're waiting on that. That should be out sometime tonight, I think is what they said.
Yeah, I actually emailed MLG to see if they had any commentary on this. And I think that's something that, it's already going to be said to Slasher. So I think everybody should pay attention to whatever's going to come out of that. So I do highly encourage everyone to listen to that Defrocked Alcoholic Priest. I couldn't help myself. I gotta make funnies. But yeah, I think it's important that, and I think it's good. Again, I really do believe that Slasher doesn't like me and Marcus doesn't like me. And again, I'm not in this for being liked, but I'll call it the way I see it. I think it's good that Slasher is doing this, and I'm hoping that they're able to get some good information, because they should absolutely continue this. And here's the thing: I really hope that now that this has been done, and I'm not gonna criticize anybody. Can Team Liquid and everybody, can you all just finally get on board? You had your big pander to the community moment, and oh my God, we're the big heroes. Can you all get on board now? That's my only thing. I'm hoping now that they all get on board and they start making mature adult business decisions, and this sort of childish. Oh my God, we think it's wrong. And I think it's good because they gave themselves an out. I think if MLG goes to $10, even $15, they can all pretend like they're the heroes and they saved it, and they did this. So I think that'll be good too.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's what they'll do. I hope, and Jerry, I want to get your opinion on this. I know we got to wrap up pretty soon, because we do. This is just a special. This is just something I know you need to get back to your conference. But I do want to get your opinion. I really hope they don't do invite only. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to do one invite only and one open qualifier. And to me, that's just going to fucking piss me off. It's going to piss me off so bad. That's going to defeat the whole fucking point of an open qualifier, because they're going to then seed people into the championship bracket of the next event. And it's just going to continue with this whole fucking thing. People that don't deserve to be there. And I think to me, this weekend kind of proves that. When you see a player like Idra, and I'm not saying Idra's a bad player, but when you see a player like Idra, who is now, for those who don't realize, at the next event, he will be in the fucking open bracket. He'll be in the open bracket for, correct me, I think I'm wrong, I think I'm right with this, for the first time since MLG Washington, I think that's right, Washington, D.C., 2010. He will be in the open bracket for the first time since then. And it's all because of the way this event turned out. And to me, that's a good thing. To me, every once in a while, players need to be knocked down a peg, And
I got a question for you real quick.
Go ahead,
got a question for you.
Jason.
What if they did do that? Exactly what you said. They did one open, one invite, right? But they did the open beforehand, and then they did the invite with the players that all made it through, basically, to better seed them. They did the two events to better seed based on the results between the two. Would you be okay with that if they invited back the people from the open?
No. No, because see that's what they're.
I
That's
should
what
have
they're.
known.
No, because they're inviting the same people back from the. I wouldn't be as opposed to it if they were inviting people back from the previous arena qualifier or the previous arena who did well. I wouldn't be as opposed to it because then at least there was some kind of open qualifier and it was all seeded for one event. It was all sort of leaked back into the next event. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I hope that's what they do. I'll accept that. But I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think they'll do one completely open qualifier and the next one will be complete invite only. And then they're going to seed those people just like they would normally for this past Winter Arena event, but they're going to do that for the two events combined. And that, to me, just will defeat the whole purpose of having an open bracket. Then you've got 8 players that have done through the open bracket, then you've got 8 players who didn't do it through an open qualifier. And it just kind of defeats the whole purpose to me, man. I just don't... I'm not a fan of it. It's one of those things. I take what Carmack says, and I want to briefly mention this before we. I promised I would. Carmack did an interview with Go2 Gamers today. Please go read it. Anybody that's paying attention, anybody that watches the VOD, if you have not seen this interview, please go read it. It's on go2gamers.net. It's. I couldn't agree with more with most everything he said. When they asked about MLG and not just MLG specifically, but just any event in general that do these invite only, kind of gauntlets of really really hard for other players to get in. He said this is not the X factor. We are a sports league, and he basically said people need to grow balls and they need to have an open qualifier. And I couldn't agree more. If your player can't get through the open qualifier, he doesn't deserve to be there for that event. And you'll never see players like you would have never seen players like Leenock. You would never see players like Naniwa. You never see players like Feast or anything like that at events if it wasn't for stuff like the open qualifiers and openness in the system. So, anyway, that's my little rant there for a little bit.
All right.
Please go check out that interview. It's really good.
I do believe that we should be wrapping things up because, Jerry, you've got to get back to that conference, my man. And we don't want to keep you from that. Of course, this is just a special. This week we will be back with the next full episode of the Losers Bracket next Tuesday night, back to normal time, starting again at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So thank you all for joining us this week. And Jerry, I'll let you get the final word before we wrap up, my man.
Yeah, my final word this week. Well, I already said my piece about what DJ Weed and Complexity Cat said. To my fans out there, if you want me to give a more direct result, some people have already sent me a message saying, no rant, aren't you going to say shit about cats? If I did anything about no, I'm not going to. I was very serious, needed to remove the bling, needed to sit straight. If that constructive criticism isn't good, I can't wait to hear why it was horrible. And I promise you, let them push it with me. Let Kat say something. Let DJ Wheat say something. Fucking, bring it on, motherfuckers. I'm all ready. But I'm going to look at it as, they got a little heated, a little dramatic. And if they give it some thought, they'll realize that the criticism was constructive. So I'm not going to do that. I do have some really exciting things coming up. We're going to do something on Sunday nights with Beyond Gaming. For those in the Gears of War community, I promise you Sunday Night Gears. It took a long time to get there. We're going to do something with that. To VV Gaming, I'm going to transform our Monday night meetings. I'm actually going to do something really revolutionary. I'm going to actually have us broadcast in the, somebody the other day on Twitter said to me, LordJerith, why don't you release the books? And I thought, it wasn't even about that. But I want to take it one step farther. I think we're going to do our staff meetings, and we're going to broadcast them on fucking Twitch TV. So you guys all get to see.
Really?
I swear to God, we're going to do this because we got nothing to hide. And we're fucking phenomenal at what we do. I think we have one of the best staffs in esports. So we're going to let anybody be a part of that, from Captain Barbosa to Sir Scoots, to anybody who wants to be a part of how VV Gaming.
Huh.
We're going to do so many exciting things coming up for our 5-year anniversary. We're going to tear down how we do esports. We're probably going to go public with every dollar we spend and how we spend it. We're just going to be really dead honest out there. and talk about values. So I'm really I promised several podcast shows ago, we're going to be transparent, and I'm not kidding. I have nothing to hide. We have some of the best people. We have some of the best processes. By all means, please compete with us. Go right ahead and try to do what we do. I'm not worried. I think our business model and what we do is so unique that we don't even have to worry. And hopefully other organizations will learn from it. I really hope they do. So at the end of the day, I think what we're doing is so special and so amazing. It'll be it. And for those of you who watch Twitter, you follow my Twitter. If you see somebody like Marcus or Kat say shit, don't get involved. Don't say a word. Just watch. It's not worth responding to. I appreciate the fact that somebody want to defend me, but don't bother. I can hold my own. Trust me. I say this all the time. In my day job, I'm trying to convince the chief diversity officer of IBM that, the way they evaluate their diversity program needs to be more in line with what I'm doing. If I can talk to the C-suite of IBM or Deloitte or Accenture, Jill Smart I was talking to is the chief human resource officer at Accenture, I can assure you, I want my community, this to us in VV, trust me guys, trust me girls, Cats, DJ Wheat, this is small fries compared to what I do in my daily life. I am not at all worried. So I don't want you to be worried. I deeply appreciate your support. I have more great things coming down the pipeline. I learned a few things with Viacom MTV Networks that I think we're going to use to help grow community. They taught me a few tricks of the trade, and I look forward to doing that. So I'm going to actually sign off, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to let you guys wrap this show up without me. So forgive me for not being here to the end, but thank you, Jason, for coming on at the last minute and making this happen, and for Dakota and Kurt for being here. Thanks to you guys who are here in the stream listening. Spread the word about this, and I'll be back home tomorrow. To Doomhammer, who's in the chat listening, Jordan, I'll call you later tonight. And to everybody else, have a good night. Enjoy, have fun. Pay for the next arena. Pay for the next arena.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stress this enough. If you liked it, right? If you like it, don't steal it. Pay for it. Trust me on this. Mm-hmm. It's more important now than a long time from now. A long time from now, you can actually steal it. Today, pay for it. I'll show you the business model next week. All right, guys, I'm out of here. New Orleans calls. I will talk to you all later. Have a good night.
Good night, Jerry. Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you, guys. Take care.
Later.
All right, so
Sweet,
I have to be honest. Oh, God. I have to be honest. At the very end there, when Jerry was like, if you like it, I almost thought he was going to break out into some Beyonce there with, if you like it, put a ring on it. Done.
I didn't think
I don't know. That
all.
would probably be one of the most shocking podcast moments ever if he broke out in Beyonce. All right, that would definitely be one of the clips of the day. No, so
That's right.
Yeah, if I guess we want to wrap up, I'll go ahead and give my shout outs here.
Please do.
I know that this was just the Winter Arena special, guys, so we didn't have time to talk about some of the news. I want to cover some of that very, very quickly. For those that don't know, The Executives, which is a podcast show with Jason Lake and Michael Odell, who's some of the big wigs over at Complexity Gaming and Team Dignitas, respectively, announced a podcast show that will be having on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, kind of early, but having at 1 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday live. Please go check that out. That announcement post is on Team Liquid. They have some amazing people lined up. They have the product marketing manager from Creative Sound Blaster, Torbull from ESEA, that's huge, Nazgul from Team Liquid, as well as Total Biscuit, and David Ting from IPL. So please check that out. It's really, really big. This weekend, for people who are CS fans like myself and or TF2 fans, please check out ESEA's finals. They will be happening this weekend. You can check out all the coverage for that at ESEAnews.com. And also just be sure to just read up on Team Liquid about this GSTL stuff with IPL. It's really, really big news. I think a lot of people really missed it. And if you haven't got your pass for IPL 4 yet, for any of you players that want to go out and try the open bracket and go through the gauntlet a little bit, please do, because I think there's only 30 passes left, maybe 20 passes. So they're selling pretty quick, selling like hotcakes. So go get them. I guess that's about it, guys. Dakota.
All right. Yep, it's intern's turn. Go ahead, Chinchillin.
Uh, I mean, I just got to tell everybody, um, stop creating drama, you fighting game players. I've been reading it all weekend. Stop it. It's
Oh,
really, I mean, it's
God.
entertaining. It's entertaining, but stop it, because now you got all the
Ain't good, though.
websites out there talking about us, how we're all sexual harassment motherfuckers, and it's not good looks, man. It's not a good look. So all you people creating drama, you guys like chill. Seriously. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are gonna audition for like a reality TV show for a lot of money, actually show up and play instead of like forfeiting and stuff in front of thousands of people. Don't do that. But other than
Oh,
that,
Lord.
other than that, I would love to go into it, but I'm not going to. Shout outs to everybody. Shout outs to No Water, by the way, who's back around in VVV, who is one of my favorite people. A-Team, hype, back in the Gears 2 days. But other than that, just, hanging out. Can't wait to be back on the show next week, and hopefully, Wednesday night StarCraft's going to be really hyped this week. And I hope Jerry enjoys New Orleans. Orleans, whatever you want to call it. I think it's New Orleans. I wish I was there.
Wow.
And yeah, I don't know. I was all chilling, and I'm like, oh wow, and the episode's over, and I didn't talk a lot, but yeah, I'm good.
Your level of derpiness, it's incredible.
Derp to the
Absolutely
max, bro.
No doubt. All right, so with the show just about over, I'd like to do the normal thanks to VVV Gaming sponsors. We got SteelSeries Gamer Grub, Control Freak, MusicSkins.com. Of course, a big shout out to the band Power Glove for supplying the music that we use every single week here on the Losers Bracket. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this special. Of course, it was a little bit earlier in the night than we're normally used to. Hey, we weren't even going to be doing a show this week, actually, but we just somehow got to pull it all together so we could come on, give you some thoughts about the Winter Arena. We'll be back with some new guests, some new content for you next week. Thank you for your support, your feedback. Let us know anything that you'd like to see different, anything you'd like to see in the future. We'd love to cover it. Who knows? Maybe we could cover some of what Dakota was talking about there next week with that that wonderful sexual harassment.
I can't wait. I'm gonna rant. Oh, I can't wait to talk about it. Let's do it. I want to.
You just said let's do it after I said sexual harassment. I'm following a lawsuit. That's horrible, Dakota. I see what you did there.
Oh.
Columbus. Anywho,
yeah.
be sure to check out the website vvv-gaming.com. You can find all of our episodes of the Losers Bracket there. Additionally, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is the VVV Gaming. Like all of our videos and email any feedback that you have to us over at thelosersbracket@vvv-gaming.com. If you would like to tweet to us, you could see our name badges here at the bottom from the entire episode. Just tweet to us. We'd love to hear from you. All right, until next week, have a good week. We'll see you soon, and take care. We look forward to hearing your thoughts. See you soon. Bye-bye.